So now chapter 16. Chapter 16 is basically about the lymphatic system. So chapter 16 is about the lymphatic system, and the lymphatic system is basically that additional system that is going to take the interstitial fluid, which is that additional fluid um, that goes to that take the excessive amount of the extra fluids that's in between the tissues, and is going to bring it back to the heart. I think I have a picture here to show you. Yeah, look at this picture here, and then I will go back to the other one. What do we mean by the lymphatic system? Lymphatic system is this green, as you see here, which is an additional system. Look at this. We already talked about the arteries, the blood leaving the left side of the heart oxygenated and go like to the aorta, and it goes to the big arteries, small arteries, arterioles, until it go to the capillaries down here. And okay. So until it go to the capillaries here, and then remember that the fluid part of the blood minus plasma proteins, as I discussed before, is going to leave the capillaries and go to these cells, interstitial fluid, loaded with oxygen and nutrients, and the tissues here, or the cells I mean, will take their needs, and then they will get rid of carbon dioxide and waste products that will go back to this side of the capillary, which is the blue side, which we call the venular side, and then it will go back to the small venules, small veins, large veins, until it go back to the heart. But the point here is the fluid that's leaving this side of the capillaries and going in between the cells, making the interstitial fluid, and then it will go back in this side. It's not equal. The amount that's leaving is not equal to the amount that's going back in this side. So the amount that's leaving here is bigger than the amount that's coming back. Let me give you an example here. Let's say in this side, which is the arteriolar side of the capillaries, 10 milliliters are leaving. 10 milliliters of good blood containing oxygen and nutrients. Can you guys see the slides? Can you easily see the slides?
Yes.
You can see the slides? Okay. I'm just double checking because it's bigger. Okay. So here it is, and you see that the amount, just as an example, let's say 10 milliliters is leaving the arteriolar ends, loaded with the good stuff. When I say good stuff, I mean oxygen and nutrients. Go to the cells. Only 7 of them, 7 milliliters, go back through the venular side. So now I have 3 milliliters in between the cells. What's going to happen to those? 10 milliliters leaving, and only 7 or 8 is coming back. So where are those? Interstitial fluid in between the cells. Is it going to stay in between the cells? It can't. If you leave it in between the cells, your cells are going to be overloaded, and this is called edema. It will become swelling. But practically speaking, what's actually happening is the difference between what's leaving and what's coming back will leak into these lymphatic capillaries, which is the smallest part of the lymphatic system that we're going to talk about. So this is taking out the extra amount of interstitial fluid. Instead of accumulating, it will take it back. So the question will be, why don't you, instead of pushing out 10 and taking back 8, why don't you push out 8 and push out 10 and take back 10? What's the reason for that? Is that happening intentionally? Actually, yes, it's happening intentionally. You want it to happen like this. You want 10 milliliters to leave and go to the interstitial fluid, which is in between the cells, and you want only most of it to go back. So you're doing that automatically. So is this difference trapped? Temporarily, yes, but it will leave and go to the lymphatics. Why are you doing that? You're forcing part of the traffic to go through the lymphatics. So the lymphatics are going to take the extra amount and it will take it in its own pathway. As it is leaving, it's going to stop by lymph nodes. And these lymph nodes are going to filter the blood and kill the pathogens. So isn't it that beneficial to divert part of the plasma, or part of the plasma that's leaving out and not coming back? You want it to go to force it through this lymphatics in order to go within these lymph nodes. And the more it goes within the lymph nodes, as it goes, it will be filtered out. So this is good. By the time it goes through the whole entire lymphatic system, it will go back to the subclavian vein right here, to the superior vena cava, and back to the heart. So what you did is, here's how I usually say. Let's say you go to one of the highways, and then you make, like, you have 3 lanes. You allow 2 lanes to go, and the third lane will tell them, here is an alternative. You can leave the highway and go through this, and we will return you back. Don't worry, but I just want you to come in this. Why are you forcing us to do that? I want to make a search, and I want to make sure that you don't have anything bad, or if you have issues or something. So you're diverting part of traffic. In this case, in this scenario, you're diverting part of the fluid components of the blood to go through the lymphatic system in order to clean it, filter it, kill the pathogens. By the time it go back to the heart, it's clean. And then the next cycle, you take another 2-3 milliliters. Next. You do that 24/7. So you're cleaning up the whole entire blood, pit by pit. It's go like small piece by small piece. 2 milliliters. 2 milliliters is not something actual. I'm just giving you an example. Let's say 100 milliliters, and you take 20 out of it. So 20 after 20 after 20 after 20. Ultimately, the whole entire blood is going to rotate through this alternative pathway, and it will be cleaned. The exact way it will go through is these lymphatic capillaries, just capillaries like these systemic capillaries. It's different, and we will discuss the difference. It will go to the small lymphatics and to the large lymphatics, passing by the lymph nodes, and then it will go to the collecting ducts until it go all the way to these ducts here, until it reach the subclavian vein that we talked about before. So back to this one, what's the general function of the lymphatic system? Number 1, returning back the extra amount of interstitial fluid. Number 2, it's going to clean it. So here it is, transport the fluid away from the interstitial fluid and return it back. Through an alternative, yes, but it's not going to stay in between the cells. It's also going to filter out and get rid of anything that's bad. So it's defense. The third function is lipids. Remember when I told you about the hepatic portal system, I already told you that when you absorb the nutrients in the digestive system, it goes to the hepatic portal system and vein and go to the liver. And I told you, except for the fat. The fat does not follow this. The fat have its own special pathway. It will go to a specific lymphatics that called the lacteals, and it will go back to the circulation. It will ultimately go back to the liver anyway, but in another pathway. So this is another function of the lymphatic system. So here it is. It goes from lymphatic capillaries, which is this, to the lymphatic vessels, to the lymph nodes, to the larger lymphatic vessels, to the lymphatic trunks, to the lymphatic collecting ducts, and then it will go to this vein right here. Remember, I showed you in chapter 15 that this is superior vena cava. it will give you subclavian vein and internal jugular. So this is subclavian vein. So where does it end? Subclavian vein. So one more time, lymphatic capillaries to the lymphatic vessels, passing through the lymph nodes, larger lymphatic vessels, lymphatic trunks, collecting ducts to the subclavian. So going to the subclavian, it will go to the superior vena cava, back to the right atrium. So you take it out of the blood and then you return it back to the blood, just like you go to the highway, divert some of the traffic, search it, clean, and then send it back. You're doing the same thing, basically. So now we said the lymphatic capillaries. What's the difference between the lymphatic capillaries and the systemic capillaries? Look at the systemic capillaries. It is continuous. Like you go from the arteriole and go to the capillaries, the arteriolar side. It will leave and go back and come back. It come back here in the blue side, which is the venular side, to the venules, to the veins, back to the heart. So it is continuous circle. The lymphatics are different because they have blind ended. Look at this. Blind end, blind end, blind end. It's not continuous like this. So this is the first difference. Second difference, it is wider. Compare this green to this blue or red. It's larger. Okay. Number three, it has valves. You have valves in the lymphatic system, just like the veins. Why? Because the blood pressure in the lymphatic system is very low, just like the veins or the venules. So you need valves so that when the lymph move, now we call it the lymph. When the lymph move, it doesn't go back. What's the lymph? Remember I told you that these lymphatic capillaries are going to take the extra amount of the interstitial fluid. It will take it in, and then it will go through the lymphatic system. This extra amount, when it go to the lymphatic system, we call it lymph. So what's the lymph? The lymph is the same structure of the interstitial fluid. It's the same, part of it leaks in and go to the lymphatics. Is it the same as the blood inside, like the plasma? Not exactly. I told you before that what leaks out or leave the capillaries and go in between the cells is everything that is small enough. The large plasma protein cannot leave. Large plasma proteins are something like the fibrinogen and the globulin, and we discussed this before. But the point here is the lymph is not the same as the plasma. It's the plasma minus the large plasma proteins. They do have valves. I mentioned that before. They contain valves. So far, the veins have valves. The lymphatics have valves. What does not have valves? Arteries. Arteries does not have valves, including arteries, arterioles, and capillaries. What does have a valve? Veins, lymphatics. Most of them have valves. Veins and lymphatics. So what after the capillaries? It will go to the larger lymphatic vessels and then go to the lymphatic trunks. From the lymphatic trunks, it will go to the collecting ducts. So I don't want you to know all these details. What I want you to know is lymphatic capillaries and how it is different from systemic capillaries, followed by lymphatic vessels, no details, lymphatic trunks, no details, collecting ducts, details. You have two of those. You have the thoracic duct and right lymphatic duct. This is the only one that I want you to know the details. And look at this picture here. Do you guys see this red part here, which is the right side of the chest and the right upper limb? This red part. All what I want you here is to know that this is drained by one of those two big collecting. You guys remember when we talked about the veins, the largest veins in the bodies are superior inferior vena cava that bring the blood back to the right atrium. Here, what are the largest, and this is the details that you need to know, what are the largest lymphatics? Collecting ducts. What are the collecting ducts? Two. Right lymphatic duct, this, right lymphatic duct, and this is going to drain the red side here, which is like 20% of the body, just this side here, the right side of the chest and the right upper limb. Anything, and the right half of the head, I'm sorry, right, everything that's red, right side of the head and neck, right side of the chest, and right upper limb. Anything else is drained by the other one, which is called thoracic duct. Thoracic duct. Where they will end up going, both of them will drain into the subclavian. Right lymphatic duct will drain into the right subclavian, and right here, this is the thoracic duct, drain into the left subclavian. Okay, so you need to know this. Only the big ones, which are right lymphatic duct, draining this only, thoracic duct, draining everything else. So here, this is the red part, and this is the white part. So the white is thoracic duct, the red part is right lymphatic duct, and this is what I want you to know. This is the same sequence again, just repeating. And tissue fluid and lymph is basically the same, but it's not the same as the plasma. I mentioned this part already, which is the interstitial fluid is the same as the plasma minus plasma proteins. I mentioned it. Plasma proteins too big to pass through the pores of the capillaries. If it is like this and the pores are like this, how can it fit? It can't leave. Anything else that's smaller than that, it can, like water, electrolytes, ions, gases, nutrients, all of these can leave. Not the plasma protein, not the cells. Too big to leave. It cannot leave. So if we're talking about the blood plasma, which part of the blood plasma filter out of the capillaries and go to the interstitial fluid from which it will go to the lymphatics? It's the plasma minus plasma proteins. Plasma proteins doesn't leave? No, it's big chunks. It doesn't leave. So that's what's making the lymph. If we don't have these lymphatics, this, remember I told you like 100 milliliters leave and only 80 go back. What happened to those 20? The lymphatic system will take it in another pathway. If you don't take it, it will accumulate. We call that edema. So what's edema? Excessive interstitial fluid. Normally, it doesn't happen. 80%, the venular side will take it, the venous side will take it, 20%, the lymphatic take it, approximately. 20%, the lymphatic system will take it. So what's accumulating? Nothing extra. It's just the regular interstitial fluid. It does not accumulate. If it accumulates for any reason, we call that edema. Now I just told you that the lymphatic pressure, the pressure in the lymphatic system is the same as the veins, if not less. In the veins, we said muscular activities, negative intrathoracic pressure that's pulling up or sucking up, and the negative intrathoracic pressure. These are the three that help the venous blood flow go back to the heart. Same thing in the lymphatics. That's it. Just to make it easy. Same three. Help venous drainage or venous going back, and the same thing for the lymphatics. So you do have valves, muscular, and the negative intrathoracic pressure. Okay? So these are the lymphatic capillaries. It looks different. It's blind-ended, looks like a pouch. It's not continuous like this, like it goes from here to here. It's continuous circle. It is not continuous circle. It's blind-ended, looks like a pouch is like this. So the extra interstitial fluid is going to leave and goes inside the lymphatic capillaries, and then it will follow the pathway that I already described. Now, when we go to the lymphatic tissues, so far I was talking about lymphatics or lymphatic vessels. These are just the vessels, like the veins, something similar to the veins. Now the tissues, the cells. We have two types that we need to know. There are lymphatic organs and lymphatic tissues. Organs and tissues. In the very, very beginning of this course, I mentioned the difference. Remember that you have cells, put them together to make tissues, you put the tissues together to make organ, you put the organs together to make organ system, and you put all the organ system to make human being. So now, sometimes you have some collections of tissues. Is it an organ? Not yet. It's just tissues. That does not have capsule around it, and we call that the lymphoid tissues. The bigger ones that have capsule around it, we call it an organ. Like lymph node is a lymphatic organ. Why? Because it's lymphatic tissue surrounded by capsule. Spleen, thymus, all of these are lymphatic organ. It's a complete organ. It's all these tissues that are surrounded by capsule. If you have just a piece of tissue, a little bit of tissues, we call it lymphatic tissues. An example of that is malt, mucosa-associated lymphatic tissues, malt. These are patches of tissues beside the digestive system, beside the respiratory system, just a little piece to protect this area only. Also, the tonsils and the appendix and the Peyer's patches, these are aggregations of lymphoid tissues in different spots. Tonsils is protecting this area, which is the throat. Appendix is a lymphoid tissue, which is lymphoid nodules, basically, which is also called tissues. And it's protecting that area of the large intestine. Peyer's patches is the same thing, but in the ileum, and so on. This is a picture showing you the lymph nodes. The lymph nodes looks like this. It has afferent lymphatic vessel. Afferent means accessing, going toward. Afferent, accessing, going toward the lymph nodes. So this is bringing the lymph in. It will go inside. Inside these, you have lymphocytes and macrophages that's going to clean it. And then it will exit from the other side and will continue its path until it go all the way to either the right lymphatic duct or the thoracic duct, back to the subclavian and back to the heart. But just understand the idea. It enter in, goes inside the lymph nodes. Inside the lymph nodes, it has different types of cells. Lymphocytes is one, and macrophages are one. Lymphocytes are going to attack invasive cells, like virus, or not necessarily cells, invasive organisms, like virus, bacteria, and parasites. This is the lymphocytes. Macrophages are going to eat anything else. Foreign substance, damaged cells, it's not a cell anymore, debris. So there is the difference. What do you have, again, what do you have inside the lymph nodes? I have two types of cells, lymphocytes and macrophage. Are those doing the same job? No, they are not. Lymphocytes attacking pathogens, virus, bacteria, parasites, pathogen. While the macrophages are not attacking pathogen. It can, but not in the lymph nodes. In the lymph node, it's just eating anything else that's not the pathogen itself, like debris, like dead cells, like foreign substances, anything that's not supposed to be there, it will eat it. And then it will leave through the other side. Now the lymph nodes, and these lymph nodes are actually something that you actually need to know, because each group of these lymph nodes is going to drain certain parts of the body. These lymph nodes are cervical. Cervical means in the cervix means neck, in the neck. And that's why when you go to the doctor, if you notice, or the nurse, they feel like this, they feel under, like around your muscle here, and they go here, and they go here, and they go under your armpits, and so on. They go here, they feel here. If you ever ask yourself what is she's doing or what he's doing, why he's feeling like here and here and here and here and in my armpit, what are you doing here? They are trying to see if the lymph nodes are normal or is it getting bigger and harder? Normally, it's not big or hard. You should not feel it in the first place. It is there, but it's not big enough and hard enough to feel it. If they feel it, they will tell you, oh, we found some lymph nodes here that's large or large. It can be large only or large and hard. So we need to know to do something about it. The first thing that comes to their mind, to the doctor or to the nurse or whoever doing the examination, the first thing is, so the lymph nodes here are enlarged. What are these lymph nodes draining? And in this side here, these cervical lymph nodes are draining the head. So there might be something wrong in the head or anything above the neck, meaning. Um, Here you have axillary lymph nodes in the armpit. What are these draining? They are draining the chest, the breast included. So if they are thinking about something like in the breast, especially the females, if they feel it in your armpit and they see something, they tell you, we need to know further investigation and see what's wrong with the breast because you don't know what's happening. It doesn't have to be something bad like a cancer, but it can be anything. It can be like infection or anything else, or maybe just some inflammation, but they need to know. So these are axillary lymph nodes draining this part of the chest, including the breast and the anterior of the chest. And then supratrochlear here, which is in the elbow right here. And this is draining this part, which is the arm. I mean the forearm. The arm and the breast are drained here by the axillary lymph nodes. And then the inguinal region is draining the lower limb. The pelvic, I mean, is draining this pelvic region, and the abdominal is draining the abdominal region. So you need to know those 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 spots and what they are draining. If you see something like that, you should know what is this. It's all about location. Like in the cervix, which is the neck, we call it cervical. In the axilla, you call it axillary. In the supratrochlear region, which is this fossa right here, you call it supratrochlear. Inguinal region, which is under your pelvis, the beginning of the lower limb, we call it inguinal. And the name gave it away if you understand what does it mean. If it's draining the pelvic region or cleaning the pelvic region, draining the pelvic region, we call it pelvic. Draining the abdominal region, you call it abdominal. So the name gave it away, the lymph nodes. And the lymph nodes, I mentioned it already, it gets rid of anything that's bad. And I already discussed the details and difference between lymphocytes and macrophages. Now the thymus. The thymus is it's one of the lymphatic organs. Remember I told you the organs? Lymph nodes, spleen, thymus. These are 3 organs. It's not tissues. It contains tissues surrounded by capsule. So it's a complete organ. So we're discussing the organs now. First organ was lymph nodes. Second organ, thymus. Thymus, look at this here. It's located here. We talked about these blood vessels like the aorta, ascending aorta, aortic arch, descending aorta, superior vena cava, right, left brachiocephalic veins. It is in this area. I'm pointing out to it right here. This is the thymus. The thymus is a lymphatic organ. The most important thing about the thymus is it's going to activate one of the lymphocytes. We did not discuss the details of the lymphocytes yet, but this one is activating the lymphocytes. Which type of lymphocytes? The T. So we have types of lymphocytes. Yeah, we have 2 types, T and B. What's the T? T is first letter of thymus. B is the first letter of bursa or bone marrow. And here's what's happening simply. The red bone marrow make the 2 types, T and B, but it's not active yet. So where do we make the 2 types of lymphocytes? Bone marrow, red bone marrow. But we make it not active yet, not ready to work yet. B is also going to be activated in the bone marrow. T is going to be activated in the thymus. And this is where the T came from. T is come from the first letter of thymus. So thymus is important for activating the T lymphocytes. It does not make it. It activates it. We make both of them in the bone marrow. How does it activate? It produces something called thymidine. Thymidine is a hormone that stimulates T cell maturation. The thymus is the largest after birth, and then the size literally goes down as you advance in age. So the largest is after birth, infancy, and early childhood. When you grow up, child, it will become less. Adolescent, less. Young adult, less. Adult, less. Old person, less. Until it elderly, like 70s or 80s, it's gone. It doesn't almost have just remnants. It's almost replaced by fibrous tissue and connective tissue and adipose tissue. It's almost replaced. Okay, it's shrinking and become very tiny. So it's actually, if you try to see the thymus of like an 80 years old person, it's extremely hard to find it. You will see some fats, and then you can see a little piece, just remaining part that still activates, but it shrink by time. The next lymphoid organ, we're talking about the organs. We did the nodes, we did the thymus, now the spleen. The spleen is located, if you can see here, this right here, this is the liver in the right side, under your right side of the chest, and the spleen is the other side, but more to the back. So it is located right under the diaphragm. Both of them are under the diaphragm. Under the diaphragm on the right side is the liver, and under the left side is the spleen. The spleen contains two types of pulp: red pulp that contain red blood cells and other things, including macrophage. White pulp contain white blood cells, specifically lymphocytes. What are the functions of the spleen? We can take it from here because it's different functions, not just one. The functions of the macrophage are, they contain, the function of the spleen. Number one, the function related to this chapter, which is the lymphoid system. It contains macrophage to eat the particles in the remnants. Number two, this is one of the locations where you're going to eat the damaged red blood cells. When we did the blood, if you still remember, after 120 days, which is the lifespan of the red blood cells, after which the blood cells are not good anymore. It's not doing the job anymore. It's old. You don't need it anymore. Or if it is damaged for some reason. In both cases, it will go to the spleen, and the spleen is going to digest, break down, and it will take the good parts. I know that I discussed this before, so refresh our information. What's coming out of this broken down red blood cells? Iron is good, send it back to the bone marrow. Protein is good, send it back to the bone marrow. Not the remnants. The remnants will get rid of it in the form of bilirubin. So these are the functions of the spleen: get rid of the particles. It can also clean up the blood. It can get rid of the pathogens, cellular debris. All of this because it contains macrophage, but it also contains lymphocytes. So remember all these lymphatic organs. If you forgot it, just say all of them contain macrophage and lymphatics and lymphocytes. I'm sorry, macrophage and lymphoids, two types of cells. Which one? Just make it easy for yourself and say all of them. Now, how we defend our body? We defend our body in different ways. The first line is that you do not permit the pathogens to enter in the first place. You do not allow anything to get in the first place. And if it gets in, you can have a second line and a third line. But the first line is something that's called non-specific defense or innate. This non-specific defense is a defense against anything. It's not specific, it's not specified. Not as if like your skin, for example. It's basically skin and mucous membranes. Mucous membranes are the lining of any hollow organ inside your body. This is called mucous membrane. So both of those are covered online so that nothing entered your body in the first place, rather than fighting inside. You don't allow to get in the first place. Part of it can get in, but at least you try not to allow to get in. So what is this? The first line of defense, which is innate. Innate means you're born with it. It doesn't need training. It doesn't need anything. It's working. Once you're born, it's working already. Like your skin, the skin of the newborn is already protecting him. So this is innate. You are born with it. And it's not specific, meaning your skin, does your skin prevent bacteria only? No, not just bacteria. How about virus? How about parasites? Does it prevent certain type of bacteria? No, it's non-specific. It prevents anything, any type of bacteria, any type of virus, any type of parasite, any type, any foreign body, anything. So this is innate, and this is something general that does not allow anything to get in. If something goes in already, like you have a wound or something get in somehow, you have your second line, which is also innate. And then you have the third line, which is adaptive and specific. We also call it the immunity. And specific because every one of those is specific. I always say it like this. In any country, you have like the borders. The borders does not allow anybody to get in unless he's allowed to get in. Okay, if it goes in, now you have police inside. Which police? Any police going around. If they see something wrong, they will take care of it. Now you have the specialized police, like FBI, like drug division of fighting the drugs, division fighting money laundering or anything else. These are specialized. So this person, if he sees somebody like breaking the light, he wouldn't stop him. My job is drugs. That's it. I'm specialized. You don't ask me about anything else. But these policemen in a police car going around, if they see anything unusual, they will fight it because these are not specific. They see like traffic light violation, they will stop it. A crash, they will stop. Somebody stop in the middle of the street, they will go to him. Somebody breaking into the house, they go to him. So this is not specific. And we have the first line of defense are these mechanical barriers, we call it. The first line is mechanical barriers. Mechanical barriers are these skin and mucous membrane and fluids around it. Like this fluid in your eyes, which is the tears, in your nose. These fluids are all called mechanical barriers. Mechanical barriers, like a wall that does not allow things, if it is healthy and if it is not broken, it will not allow anything to go through it. Skin, mucous membrane, fluids, basically. Beside that, you have something called species resistance. Species resistance means there are certain things that does not invade you in the first place. They cannot target you. Like some of the diseases of the animals, even if it come to your body, it will not infect you, and vice versa. Like for animals, you guys know that something like syphilis and gonorrhea, if you give it to the animals, it will not live there because this is called species resistance. Their species, which is animals in this case, does not, the environment there is not good for those diseases. And you as human, you have species resistance, which is certain diseases of animals cannot invade you. I know that some diseases can, like the swine flu and other types that came to us initially from animals. But this is not species resistance. Species resistance, some of these, not all, some of these diseases cannot get into you, cannot invade you, so you are protected natively, innate. This is one, species resistance. Mechanical barriers, this is another one, and this is the first line. If you pass this, You have the second line, which is still non-specific, but we call it the second line. What also is non-specific and after the mechanical barrier? So you already passed it. You already went through the mechanical barrier. What's your second line? Still non-specific. Inflammation is one. Inflammation is one. You also have interferon, which is related to inflammation, but it does count um, as one of the innate. You also have something like phagocytes. You have something like complement. All of these are non-specific. So inflammation, what's the importance of inflammation? Something gets in, you start the inflammation to surround it, to protect the area, to clean the area, to try to kill it if possible. But what exactly is this inflammation coming against? Anything. It's non-specific. It doesn't choose. It doesn't say, this is the TB, so I'm going to start to work. No, it doesn't say that. This is hepatitis virus. No, no, no. It doesn't say anything. Anything that's not supposed to be there, so it's non-specific, innate, it will get inflamed. Even a splinter, anything enter to your body, you see this inflammation, and inflammation, if you look, if you, I say almost everybody got inflamed sometime. Like you have this red, hot, painful, swelling. These are called the local signs of inflammation. Inflammation is not really bad, even though it's painful, we don't like it, but it's not bad. It's actually body defense. It's part of the body defense. And the reason why the inflammation is good is because, first of all, why is it swollen like this? Because it's bringing more blood to that area in order to bring more cells to defend you. Number two, why is it hot or warm? Because when you make it warmer, you increase the metabolism in this area, you have more energy to fight. Besides, when it becomes warmer, most of the pathogens of humans, they do not like hot weather. They do not like the higher temperature. They love your normal body temperature, 98.6. Perfect. Perfect. I'm going to thrive. I'm going to multiply. It's perfect. But when you make it hot, this is bad for them. So this is inflammation. Interferon is going to interfere with the viral replication. Phagocytes is going to eat anything that's bad. Complement is proteins that are going to complement the function of other things. We will go to the details. But so far, all of this is non-specific. Chemical barriers. So we talked about mechanical barrier. How about chemical barriers? Chemical barriers are these chemicals that are secreted by a special type of lymphocytes when it see cells that are infected by virus, cells that infect or occupied by cancer. They are going to secrete these chemicals to protect you. Chemical barriers. Something called perforin. And here is something called colectin. It's another thing. Natural killers. Natural killers. Kills your natural cells if infected. Like it's not killing the pathogen itself. Natural killer, they do not kill the pathogen itself. If this virus come, natural killer will not kill it. But when it enter your cells, the cells are bad already. So they kill the cell itself. And this is where the name came from. Phagocytosis, phago means eat, cytes means cells. Phagocytosis is the phagocytic cells eat. We talked about it before. Monocytes make the macrophage, neutrophils make macrophages, the small eaters. Fever is another thing. Fever, when the temperature goes up again, it will make the atmosphere, the environment bad for most of the pathogens. So depressing or inhibiting the microbial activities or microbial growth. On the other hand, when the temperature goes up, macrophages become more active. So species resistance, I talked about this. I did it from the table to make it easier, but we will take a little bit of, talk a little bit about it more as we go. Species resistance, I mentioned it already. We as humans do not get, we do not contact every single pathogen from other species like animals and plants. Some of them cannot infect us and vice versa. Mechanical barrier. Mechanical barrier is the first line of defense, like the skin, the mucous membrane, and anything related to those. Skin, mucous membrane, and anything related. What's related? Like skin, you have your nails, you have your hair. So this is part of it, of the mechanical barrier. Tears in your eye, saliva in your mouth, urine in your urinary system. All these are mechanical barriers to wash away and prevent things from coming in. Chemical barriers are something like enzymes, like pepsin, which is an enzyme inside your stomach. When you eat, remember that you're not eating something that's sterilized. You eat sandwich, you eat something contains some pathogens. Okay, when you put it inside, when it goes already inside your stomach, the chemical barriers will kill it, like enzymes or hydrochloric acid is going to destroy the microorganisms. Something like interferon that I talked about already, and interferon interfere with viral replication. Interferon interfere with viral replication and interfere with the growth of the tumors. One of the functions is to stimulate phagocytosis to prevent those. But the most important thing that I want you to remember is interferon interfere with viral replication. This is the main function. Defensine from the name, to defend you. Defensine is to defend you. Neutrophils make it in order to defend you against microbes. Collectin from the name, collection. These are proteins that are going to make a collection around the bacteria and other pathogens in order to limit their presence. Complement from the name, I'm trying to make sense of the name to be easier. Complement is a group of protein to complement the function of other cells. They complement the function. Like they stimulate inflammation, complementing their function. They attract phagocytosis to complement their function. And they help lymphocytes, they complement their function. So they complement the group of protein in the plasma that complement the functions of other cells. I'm going through the parts that we already did in the table. Natural killers. What do I have to know about the natural killer? To wrap it off, to summarize it, natural killers are cells, lymphocytes that kills the natural cells. Why do you want to kill your natural cells? If it is invaded. You kill your natural cells if it is invaded. So you need to kill it now. It's useless. If it's invaded, not only useless, it's actually harmful. Like if a virus go into your cells, it's gone. The cells are bad. Not only that, but it will leave the cells and go to the other cells. So it's the best way is just get rid of these cells by natural killers. They secrete something called perforins in order to kill the cells. And from the name perforin, to make a perforation in the cell wall, and once you perforate the cell wall, the cells are going to die. Do you want to kill your cells? Yes, I do. I want to kill my cells if bad, if infected. It's not only useless, it's harmful. Kill it, get rid of it. What are the natural killers? These are types of lymphocytes. It's mainly T lymphocytes, but it might be some of the B lymphocytes as well, but it's mainly T. I already talked about inflammation and why is it swollen and red? Because the blood vessels dilate to bring more blood. Why are you dilating like this? To bring more white blood cells to come and fight to that region. Um, phagocytosis, coming more to eat anything that's not supposed to be there. So this is a good effect. It's a little bit warmer to dilate more and bring more, and also to inhibit the pathogens. You make a blood clot. Actually, you prevent the blood clots. You're doing two things here. You prevent the blood clot so that more blood come, and you make a blood clot in the area that's leaking out. So this is the clotting factors. You also have some fibroblasts. It's going to make fibrous tissue to contain this area to stop the bleeding until the cells start to divide again and you heal. One word here that's important. Remember, there is a pathogen in the area that's inflamed. If it is inflamed, you have something invader, whatever the invader is. This invader, if it is pathogen, the white blood cells will come and you're going to fight. As it is in any fight, you will have victims. You will have dead. Some of the pathogens are going to die. Some of your white blood cells are going to die. If you mix those together, dead pathogens, dead blood cells together, and you wipe it and you put it together and you liquefy this and you call it the pus. So what's the pus? Dead pathogens, dead white blood cells, liquefied. By the way, normally the pus is going, the body will get rid of it, so no need to open it, as long as it's not abscess. If you just have some white pus right here, leave it alone. The body will get rid of it. Phagocytosis, all what I want you to know is phagocytes eat anything that's not supposed to be there. Okay? Number one. Number two, we have two types, the big eaters and the small eaters. The big eaters come from monocyte, and the small eaters come from neutrophils, good enough to know, in the phagocytes. Big eaters, small eaters, macro and micro. Macro come from monocytes, which is big. Micro come from neutrophils, that is small. Fever, like if you ask yourself, when I get sick, why I get fever? Why if I measure, if I use the thermometer and I measure my temperature and it's going up, is that happening for a reason? It is happening for a reason. When something enters your body, a pathogen, an invader enters your body, some cells are going to die, okay? And lymphocytes are going to come around this area because of the infection, and lymphocytes are going to secrete something called interleukin-1. This interleukin-1 is called the endogenous pyrogen. Endogenous means from inside. Pyro means heat. Gen means generator. Pyrogen, heat generators. So interleukin-1 is a heat generator that come from lymphocytes. Why lymphocytes secrete it? Because they found a pathogen, bacteria or virus. What this endogenous pyrogen is going to do? It's going to go to your thermostat inside your hypothalamus and increase the set point. So the hypothalamus normally, its setup is 98.6 Fahrenheit or 37 degrees centigrade or Celsius. So this is normal, and you're always working homeostasis, you're always working to keep it like this. But when this is released from the lymphocytes, it go to the thermostat and jump in and change your settings. It will make it like 99, let's say, or 100. Now the thermostat will be confused, which is inside your hypothalamus. It will be confused. It will say, wait a minute. I thought it's supposed to be 98.6. Who moved it and make it 100 like this? The endogenous pyrogen. Okay, so now I have to work accordingly. This is exactly like if you have a visitor inside your body, I'm sorry, inside your house, and you put your heat on 70, let's say, and somebody came to your house, you didn't see him, and he go to your thermostat and make it 80, and then you see like, what is this? It's the temperature the temperature in my house, or the I mean the temperature in my house is becoming 80. What is this? What happened? Somebody jumped in and moved the thermostat to 80. Same thing here. Somebody jumped in after bacterial infection, lymphocytes making endogenous pyrogen, which is interleukin 1, go to the hypothalamus and change the setup point. The hypothalamus will say, okay, I'm responsible for the body heat. Now I need to make it 100. 100 is normal now. It's not really normal. It's temporarily normal under the effect of this endogenous pyrogen. So now the hypothalamus will say, okay, let's activate the muscles. Let's constrict the vessels. Let's make the body heat go to 100 because this is normal now. It's not really normal. It's temporary. So, and that explain, if you notice, if you're sick, not only you have fever, before you have fever, you say, I start to shiver and I have fever. No, actually you're shivering because you're contracting your muscles, because your hypothalamus is intentionally trying to increase your body temperature. Why hypothalamus is doing that? Because the setup point changed from this endogenous pyrogen. And what's good about that is fever is of course bad. It's a bad thing. Why do you want the fever to happen? It's not completely bad. You of course you want it not to go above certain limits. If it is like 38, something like that, that's okay. That's acceptable because when the temperature goes up a little bit, that's going to activate your body, activate your metabolism. You make more energy to fight, and it's going to dilate your blood vessels. The blood flow move more, and it's going to inhibit the activity and the growth of the pathogens. Isn't that good? So it is part of your natural defense. But remember, I'm telling you, if it goes up more than that, even though it's still doing a good effect, but you don't want it to go above the limits that it will be harmful. It can actually affect the brain, especially children. So it's 97.6, 98, 98.3, something like that, around the 98. That's okay. It's a slight fever. It's going to activate your body and it's going to help you defend, and it will go away by itself because lymphocytes, once they see the bacteria go away or the virus go away, it will stop producing the interleukin 1, which is the endogenous pyrogen, and this is going to clear the hypothalamus, and the set point is going to go back to 98.6, which is 37. Next part is adaptive or specific, and I'm going to stop here, which is the third line. I'm going to do it on Thursday, okay? So I'm going to stop this.